Hey, Geoff.
Hey, Kelly.
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. This is Blueprints for Belonging,
Yep.
where we explore how to build conscious connection in a disconnected world.
Yeah, and we're doing that because belonging doesn't happen by accident.
Nope.
It happens by design.
Yep. So last time we shared why we started this podcast and why belonging is a need and not a luxury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although most people don't recognize that. You know, they go along their way and they have no idea what they're missing, except they find themselves being lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why are you lonely? Because you're not connecting.
A lot of them don't know how.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But anyway, so today we're kind of diving into something a little bit different. We're going to talk a little bit more about talking versus communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because those are not the same thing.
They're not the same thing. No. Some people think just because I'm talking, I'm communicating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of memes that that say exactly that.
Yeah.
You know.
So just for if anybody's new and checking in on a meme is an idea or thought that gets passed on. Just to let y'all know, memes are kind of like genes. They have a replicator. Like genes have a replicator, memes have a replicator, and so we'll talk a little bit more about that another time. But we're just letting you know. Sometimes we use some new information you might not have ever heard before. So
that's right.
So talking is easy sometimes, and we talk when we're tired or frustrated or distracted, but mostly we talk on autopilot. What's autopilot?
Oh, autopilot is BS. It is when you're just talking, you're just saying whatever it is that you think needs to be said to communicate your idea, but you use mimetics, you use preconceived ideas, and you're just blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. And the person goes, what?
Yeah. Sometimes it's just filling up the space with the words.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Not fun for some people because there he goes again. He's talking.
Right. Oh, he just loves the sound of his own voice.
Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes, on the other hand, like communication, it's a little bit more intentional when we want to have a conversation with somebody. Hey, I'm just wondering if you're available to have a conversation about some stuff. Uh-oh, they heard that word. What do you mean you need to have a conversation with me?
Right.
That might be.
Sounds serious.
So we just need to make it normal. We talked a little bit about performing, forming, storming, performing, and norming.
Right.
Yeah. So if we don't really know what it is, we might kind of get kind of scared with
bristle,
it. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like,
they want to have a conversation with me. I'm in trouble now.
Right. They didn't tell me what it's about.
So we need to make those kinds of things normal. We need to help people understand, hey, when I'm ready, or if there's something going on with you, I'm going to invite you to come with me and talk about something that we need to talk about. So.
Right. Which, especially if it's something that's going on with you. Mm-hmm. Well, it helps with that alludes to vulnerability.
Well, it helps with clarity.
Mm-hmm.
It helps with kind of being in tune with yourself, and opens your awareness in a way that, kind of like you're being an architect. You know, you have to have a structure. If you don't have the structure or an idea of what that structure is, how can you determine?
You can't build anything around it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So in some ways, we're building this structure, or we're opening this awareness to. We can create a structure, a blueprint for belonging. Mm-hmm. We can create that. I know I came back to it. Anyway, we were just so excited about that word, blueprints for belonging. But kind of like when you were designing structures, you learned what people needed. You just didn't assume. You had to kind of make sure you had some clarity about what they needed for that building.
Oh, absolutely. And that's actually what made me a great architect. Mm-hmm. is that I listened to the client, and then I communicated that to my team, and we produced what they wanted. And in a conversation yesterday I had with someone, they were like, oh yeah, because usually architects just, they have their own idea of what it's going to be before they even meet with you.
No.
And then they just ignore what you asked for and give you what they wanted. And that is a shitty architect, I gotta tell you. And that's a lot of architects that are out there. And I think it's because it just doesn't suit my personality type to be an architect, even though I am an excellent communicator and listener. So I'm perfect for the job.
Well, great.
As well.
You can take that metaphor and use it for the rest of your life.
That's right. I can build connections by listening.
That's right. That's right. We're going to be doing lots more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were designing those structures and people wanted a wall in a certain place, and when it wasn't going to work for that type of structure or that thing, how did you share with them that's not going to work?
Well, I'd usually walk them through in the form of sketches or whatever, why what they wanted won't work spatially, or it'll, what the problem with that might be. And then I show them an alternative sketch, which shows how it could work. And sometimes we have to do more than one of those, and get buy-in from them on the alternate sketch. So it's, because it's not about, oh, your idea was horrible. No, it's, well, we could do that, but this will happen if we do that, and this will negate these other things that you want in your building. So what I'm suggesting is we do this, and clients are very receptive to that.
They were open to those different ways of doing something.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you ever have I'm sure you never had a difficult client.
Yeah.
You don't have to name names here, but I'm sure you have.
I've had some difficult clients, yes.
And so those difficult clients, why we put that label on them, they're difficult. They're in some ways that's a judgment about somebody else.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and sometimes when we have labels on people, we have ways to look at them and expect certain things to happen in that certain way, especially when we've given them a label like they're a difficult person.
Right.
They're going to show up. They're going to show up to be difficult, and sometimes we will respond back to that person in a way that helps them be that difficult person.
Right. We perpetuate it.
Right.
By feeding that idea.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, all labels are judgments.
Yeah.
I mean, really. And judgment is at the core of a lot of what we're going to be talking about in this podcast.
Right.
But today we're not necessarily diving into that.
Right. We're just kind of alluding to it.
Yeah. Another day.
Another day.
Yeah.
More for judgment. Thou shalt not
Right.
judge.
Or multiple days. Who knows? It's a big subject.
Right. But it's part of our, what we're kind of calling, what is real communication? Real communication is a way of being with another person that's not just about talking. It is about being open to hearing, and we're also going to feed this through here. We have a little bit of another, what we use, OF&R, so that's observation, feelings, needs, and request, and that's part of the work of Marshall Rosenberg's Nonviolent Communication. And I've shared a little bit on the first episode about what violence is from the World Health Organization. I'm not going to repeat it again. Y'all can go look it up. But it is about, a lot of people think, well, they're not violent. And so in some ways, what I like about the World Health Organization's definition is we create this maldevelopment. And I think that's what we're all kind of dealing with, is our maldevelopment. And I think part of that comes through our unawareness, not being aware that this is happening or this has been part of the structure for our learning how to connect with other people.
Absolutely. Well, Because awareness is at the beginning of everything. If you're not aware of it, you can't change it.
Wow.
If you're not aware of whatever behavior you're exhibiting, you can't change it. You have to name it to be able to change it. Yeah. And even when you think I'm aware of this and that, but are you aware of everything? Probably not. When you flip out, are you aware that you're flipping out? Or when do you become aware of it? Do you become aware of it after the fact?
Probably when I was in my unawareness, I wasn't aware that I was flipping out. But when I became aware, then I was more aware I was flipping out.
Right. And that's the beauty of becoming aware.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
It's like, because once you're aware of something, of a behavior, you will begin to notice it when it comes up. And that gives you the opportunity to put that space in between your impulse and reaction, so your reaction turns into a response. Because that space gives you time to think about choices.
There you go. You're investigating that meaning.
That's right.
So, we've talked a little bit about autopilot. When we get onto autopilot, and for some, if you're working in a retail business or something like that, I guess autopilot is really nice, Yes, thank you for coming for dinner. We really appreciate you coming to our restaurant, or, or thanks, come back to our store another time, or what can I help you with, But in a relationship, autopilot is probably going to take a nosedive. Sorry for that metaphor, but
it's likely to kill the relationship.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about what judgment is. Do you want to?
All right. Yeah.
Do you have an idea of what judgment is?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Go for it.
I'm a number 1 on the Enneagram scale. I am a perfectionist.
Oh.
Judgment is my thing. Mostly self-judgment, but also when I was judging myself so harshly, I was holding everybody else to my standards, which I couldn't even meet. And judgment is something that we are taught to do.
It's kind of like a moral obligation.
Just about, yeah. It's like, this is how you behave in the world. Yeah. Here you go. Yeah, they're stupid, they're lazy, and you're great. And, so you start judging almost immediately.
Well, we get kind of trained that there's a right and wrong. And if they're doing it wrong, then they're not good enough. Or
right, then they're bad.
They're bad, right.
And because good and bad and right and wrong, those are all judgments.
Or if you disagree with me, you're wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And judgment is, I honestly think it's how we all interact.
Well, it's part of our survival system. So it's part of our fight, flight, and freeze. It's part of that.
Okay. Tell me a little more about how it plays into flight or fight.
Fight or flight? Well, I have to know really quickly about if I'm going to be hurt or harmed. So I use that judgment as a precursor to kind of see if I'm going to, if I'm safe or if I'm not safe. Or if what you're doing is good for me or not good for me. So, and if I can label you, then maybe I don't have to, like if you're a bad person, then I don't have to engage with you or be around you or...
Right, I'll avoid you based on the judgment that I made about you.
Right, and then I can control the narrative. I can control what's going on.
And that's the beauty of judgment. It gives us so much illusion of control.
Yes.
And that's all it is an illusion, because we don't control anything but ourselves.
What? You're not perfect?
No. Perfection doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What are you kidding me? Perfection doesn't exist. Permanence doesn't exist.
Yeah.
We are in an impermanent, changing world, and nothing we can create is perfect.
Yeah. A lot of who I see, they think mistakes are their failures. And so they self-judge themselves, and they get reinforced from other people who judges them. Right. And they have to fix themselves before they can belong.
God, that breaks my heart.
It makes me sad. And they part of that judgment, it's getting, again, back into that us versus them thinking that they must be the problem. And if they're just the problem, then, they can go away, or it kind of reinforces their isolation to be away from other people. But anyway, I want to just say that judgment is a learned behavior. And it's often mimetically reinforced. And we've talked a little bit about memes and ideas that get passed on. And so just think about when you were a kid, what were some mimetic structures that you had around judgments of yourself and others?
Oh, you're asking me to go back to a painful place.
Oh, so sorry. I didn't mean to.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, good and bad and right and wrong played into my life.
Like in school?
Oh, at school and at home.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there were certain ways you behaved and certain ways you didn't. Although, yeah, okay. So my parents divorced when I was 6, and I lived with my father from that point on. My father was not the judgemeister that my mother was. He was not the supercritical one. And so actually, and that's because that happened when I was 6, I didn't grow up after that with my mother. Although she had already imparted all that stuff to me when I was younger. And I'm really struggling to answer your question. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Just where you are.
It's like I'm talking about all around it, but
Right.
I'm not actually answering the question. And that's what I do when I don't know the answer.
Well, in some ways, you might be judging yourself right now.
Possibly.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good awareness there. So I'll help you along here. So it's not about that you have to fix yourself. You're not broken.
Right.
You're not
broken.
defective.
No, people make mistakes.
Correct. And
It's
people
human.
those mistakes are not failures. They're just what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And being in that place of this is just what's happening right now. How do I get back to this collaboration with myself and with others? I'm not supposed to be perfect. Nothing's perfect, but I am worthy. I am a person here on this planet trying to figure it out. And there's always going to be some sort of task. I think of it as our curriculum, our life curriculum. There's going to be some sort of task that's going to get me to think about something about being human, something about belonging. And I think judgment is a fun way to start to investigate all of those meanings that we've had. As a kid, my parents divorced as well, so we moved a lot, or we moved around. And so you're from a divorced family, and you're in this Christian church, and your parents didn't. From a broken home, and you have to live with all of those kinds of things. So again, we're not broken. We don't need to be fixed. We're just trying to do the best we can here. And part of our judgment, the mimetics of it, is we have been taught to judge others because it's about our safety. Yes, now we know that we're really good judgers. We can make those decisions and care for ourselves. You're here at 57 years old or whatever. How old are you?
54.
54, sorry. I apologize.
She's aging me.
I
so
know, I'm
fast.
aging you so fast. So anyway, so you're here on this planet. You've made it here for 54 years, and you've used judgment in such a well way to care for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And
Until it didn't work for me anymore.
right. And there's a lot of people will be judged for lots of other things that have happened recently in the past. Anyway,
there's plenty of judgment to go around.
Plenty of judgment to go around. And so, we try to use that to create that safety for us. So I just want to bring that as a way of trying to understand what judgment is about.
Right. Because it's a safety because, I know what he is and I know what she is. So I know what to think about those things. And it's like safety and understanding your environment almost. And so those judgments help you keep control, and I'm giving air quotes to that because there's no such thing as control when it comes to others or anything else.
Well, the reason why we're talking about this today is because we just want to reinforce or reshare a little bit more about these mimetic structures that we get, that we're inheriting from our families of origin, from school systems, from work environments, from church environments, or belief systems that we might have. So just kind of being aware of those. So that's kind of what we're going to kind of open up our reflective prompt for today, which is when I notice myself judging, what feeling am I avoiding? What need might be underneath this judgment? So do we want to give a little bit of an example of what that might look like?
Sure.
Would that be helpful? Would you have one that you would want to share?
So ask the question again.
So when I'm noticing myself judging, what feeling am I avoiding? What need might be underneath that judgment?
Right. I will use my judgment and then resentment of certain people I used to work with. Other architects who I judged unfairly about their life, their performance, that I had no idea what I was thinking, and I've since undone all that. But yeah, and I think where that came from was a little imposter syndrome. I wasn't comfortable in the architectural world in Texas. I didn't feel like I belonged, and I never did. And so people who did belong pissed me off. And that turned into anger and directed towards them, and then that turned into resentment because I let it fester.
Wow.
And when I wrote in my journal about resentment, oh my God, I found things that were like 15 years old, and I still held those feelings about those people. And I was just like, what is wrong with me?
Right. So in some ways, that judging is a way to manage these strategies that were uncomfortable, and that you had this fear and uncertainty about being a good architect, comparing yourself to other people.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So in another way, how would you use this with curiosity? What would be something a little bit different in that same scenario? How would you use curiosity? You're kind of shifting the pattern to be in a place of curiosity versus in judgment.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll walk through the process of my journal entry into resentment. So when I start writing about something in my journal, it is because I am curious about it and it's bothering me and I want to unpick it.
So that's good. So you're looking at the feeling you're avoiding.
Right.
Okay.
And I ask myself the question, what is this about?
So really getting that clarity.
Why do you feel this way? Yeah.
And do you notice what the need that might have been there?
Need was for acceptance. And
did you have acceptance
like professional
for yourself?
acceptance.
Did you have professional acceptance for yourself?
I don't think I did, because at that time I was still putting everything in everybody else's baskets. So if they didn't think that I was the same kind of architect as them, then I took that as truth. Yeah, I took other people's judgments or perceived judgments and turned those into my life. And I mean, I think about what I used to do, and it's just crazy.
So really good. So the NVC skills that you've had, they've helped you with being aware more of that self-judgment that you might have had about yourself and where you were going in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you call yourself a recovering architect.
Yeah, well,
Because it's not about addiction. It's not that recovery.
No, it's not about addiction. But I think that anybody who has been in architecture as long as I had been, and then decided not to do it anymore, is a recovering architect.
Right.
Because it becomes such a big part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
To cut it off is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And because so much of your identity is tied up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's society that does that, as well as yourself as the architect. You know, you do that. You assign so much of your identity with it that it is a recovery, because you have to learn how to take everything you learned from it and use those in different ways without doing architecture anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although you couldn't pay me to go back into architecture. No.
Well, we're doing architecture a little bit different for you. We're creating some blueprints for belonging.
Oh, well, right.
Right, okay.
And that kind of architecture I can live with.
Well, I'm glad you got all this experience, because I think it's really helpful for our podcast. So,
right.
Before we leave, I wanted just to give another kind of a way to understand this. So if feelings and needs are happening on the person who is judging, what's often going on for the person who is judging? They are feeling frustrated. They might be judging. They might be overwhelmed. They might have some anxiety or fear. They might be disappointed. Those were kind of some of the things you might have had about yourself with that. Okay. And the needs that are underneath that, you might looking for order or structure, predictability, reliability.
To be seen and heard.
To be seen and heard. To have this shared understanding of what our roles are and how we work through them. Right. And so in some ways we use what we call a protective strategy. We try to protect ourselves. We avoid being vulnerable to other people, and that protects us. And that, in some ways, that protective strategy
isolates us.
Isolates us even more. It's kind of like being on a deserted island, and somebody comes to save you, and you're like, "No, get off my island," Yeah. So anyway, this is kind of how we look at it. So judgment blocks our connection.
Don't bludgeon me with judgment.
Don't bludgeon me with right. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is.
It might have to be turned into a song or something. Bludgeon them to death.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so out of all of today that we've just shared about all of this, was there anything that really stuck out to you?
Not really. Well, we started talking about how it doesn't equal communicating, but then we diverged and we went into judgment.
We want to let them know. We want to give them that understanding about how judgment affects our communication skills.
Right.
Right.
So, don't ask me that question.
Okay, sorry. All right. Well, I'll put it this way. So I noticed that sometimes that when we have a judgment, sometimes especially for ourselves, when we have that judgment, it blocks our ability to be open and kind of go. We kind of shut down dialogue when we're in that place of judgment. We don't want to make anybody else upset, so we're just going to be quiet, But anyway, so just trying to kind of help us learn how to shift this thinking about if we're noticing that we're judging ourselves or others, that we might want to be open to, what's the feelings and needs.
Uncovering the feelings underneath. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Which really starts with awareness.
Yeah.
But that's next week.
And more about that for next week.
There's going to be a lot about awareness.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for
hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
And
we really love having you.
If you like this podcast, please put a like on it for us and
leave
share
a
it
comment.
Share it with somebody else.
Yeah, that's how more people will find it. So please.
We're just excited to share this information because we've noticed that a lot of people that we're friends with
Yeah.
or
in relationship with.
relationships with, or just finding people, social media, that they are missing some of this information. So we just wanted to be able to share it in a real practical, collaborative way to helping other people make this shift in a direction toward connection. So
Absolutely. Because
you're worth it.
you are worth it.